Hello, this is Michelle with Mark and Michelle Insights.com. And I am a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a friend, independent contractor, and a business owner. And so today is Who the Hell Are You? But first, we're going to find out who the hell the panel is. Okay? All right. Carol, why don't you come on out?
Okay, I the hell am Carol Mikowski from upstate New York, and I am a business owner with my spouse Ellie, and we are online marketers. We live, I said, in upstate New York, and we're adjusting with great difficulty to the darkness that's coming in earlier and earlier. Other than that, everything is fine.
Yeah,
Thank you, Michelle.
that's definitely something that I have to get used to as well. Ellie.
Hi, Ellie Walsh. It's still light by you. That's because you're an hour earlier than us, right? It's dark here already. Dark at 8 o'clock at night. I'm in upstate New York on the other end of the house from Carol, and I'm laughing because I don't want to just do that whole, we just talked about this before we came on, that, I am this and I am that and I am that is labels. And I'm a person who believes that people truly can do whatever they want to do, that they can find if they really want to do it. And I'm a person that gets great joy, and I have a passion of helping people do what they want to do. So I'm not going to use labels today. I'm sure that'll change later, but
Thank you, Ellie. And Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm going to use labels because it's 8 o'clock and it's dark, and that's what my brain can think of. So I'm coming in from Western Massachusetts, Northampton, where it is also dark here in the Northeast. And I am a mother and a wife and an employee and an entrepreneur. And as of today, I am a coach of a junior field hockey team. So all kinds of crazy things. And I like to keep it interesting and have some fun. And I like to encourage and inspire others. So super fun to do with a bunch of 11-year-olds too. Yeah.
Thanks, Kelly. I can totally relate because I was a hockey coach as well. So, from 4-year-olds all the way up to 17. So, that was an adventure. Okay, so like I had mentioned, today we are talking about who the hell are you? And it might be fairly short because actually I don't have any notes. I don't have anything prepared. And I am used to doing short videos now. So hopefully the panel can join in with their thoughts as well. But so who are you? We are somebody totally different when we decide to become an entrepreneur. And through growing our business, through learning mindset, personal development, through learning all these new strategies and following leaders and having maybe a coach and just being friends with people who are more successful changes who we are. So we need to look at if we are down on ourselves, if we don't think, we're all this big positive thing, we've changed in any way, just look at who you were and who you hung out with and what you did with most of your time before you started the business and what has changed and how you've actually come a long way. I did that. I was somebody completely different, totally different, a pessimist, never had faith in anybody or anything, didn't think that anything would turn out my way, and just sat in front of the TV all the time. and watched horror movies. So now I am somebody who runs a business and is becoming a leader. And I actually have people that come to me throughout our company and, ask me questions and ask me for help. And so that's somebody I didn't think that I would be 2 years ago. And even 20 years ago, when I entered network marketing, I was somebody completely different. A new mom, unhappy, and it just carried over into my businesses. That's why, that's part of why they were not successful. So if you're not finding the success that you want, that you're looking for, then maybe you need to do some more personal development. There is a whole mindset shift. I don't like talking about mindset per se, because people don't like to talk about that. They don't want to hear about that, but it's so 100%, 1,000% true. When you are an employee, you have a totally different mindset than when you run a business. And so in order to change the way we think about things and how we run our business, we need to take that mindset shift. We need to read books, listen to audio that will inspire us, that will teach us how to change the way we think. And so that also changes who you are. And who you are, if you are continually growing, will change month to month, week to week, and even day to day. Because as an entrepreneur, we should always be learning something new every day, whether it's something little tiny or something big. So, man, that's about all I got. Does anybody on the panel want to chime in with anything, and we'll build off of each other?
I sure do. You talked about success, hanging out with people who are more successful, and mindset and what have you. I was just telling Ellie earlier today that I came across a quote this morning that I thought, to my way of thinking, dovetails exactly with this. It's from Maya Angelou, and it says, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. So if you don't know who you are, I'm wondering, how can you like yourself? Is it just because you kind of say, yeah, I'm all right, I like myself, or do we really pay attention to ourselves and get to know ourselves more deeply? We're in a group that meets once a month, and it kind of delves into issues such as this. And one of them was start the sentence, I am, and then finish it. And it's interesting. I thought, Michelle, you started off with nouns. You said, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a parent, I'm, et cetera, et cetera. And for whatever reason, in this particular group, people chose to use adjectives. And they said things like, I'm amazing, I'm, happy, I'm unhappy, I'm a mess. Well, that would be a noun. Whatever. So it's just a little different way of looking at yourself, I think, whether you're going to choose to label yourself with a noun, or you're going to look more into a description of yourself with an adjective. Because, you might say, well, what the hell's the difference? But there is a nuance, a little difference there as to how you're looking at yourself. And I remember once when I was in school, somebody said, they were probably in their 20s, late 20s, and they said, well, I know who I am, blah, 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 whatever the rest of the sentence was. And I was a little bit older than that at the time, and I thought to myself, holy crap, I don't know who I am. you know, kudos to her if she really does. And then I said, I wonder if she really does, or is she just used to saying that? So I guess maybe that was the first time I ever thought to look at that question, who are you? So I don't. It brings up a lot of stuff, and I sure as heck don't really have any definitive answers right now. Maybe by the end of the panel I will. So thanks for bringing it up, Michelle.
I really like that. You know, I never really thought about that. There is a big difference between the nouns and the adjectives. 3 years ago, I entered a program, and they had us go really deep into who we are. And at first, it was so difficult to do, especially when you're thinking negatively on everything and so unhappy. And by the end of the time, I realized who I was and who I wanted to be. And I didn't even know what color I liked. And I didn't know what made me happy, what I liked to do. I couldn't even tell you what I liked to do. I could tell you horror movies, but it couldn't be my escape. And that was my escape. So I couldn't tell you what even I liked. So, you know, I like that. I think we need to come up with adjectives about who we are. That way, instead of labeling, like Ellie said, everybody's a sister or a daughter or a friend or an employee, you know, and that doesn't really describe who we are exactly. So, yeah, I'm going to think about that a second. Does anybody else want to say anything?
Well, I think that's all huge. You know, we actually talked about this a little earlier today. Who am I, or who the hell am I, is a question that I think teenagers ask. You have a teenager. Kelly will be coming up on that soon. And, you know, and I actually, I mean, I remember that. I remember that feeling, you know, and I think the question that they're asking, that I was asking, is, how do I fit in here? What's my purpose? Okay, and I believe, at least for me, you have that wiped out of you. It's like your purpose is to go get a job. I mean, they actually told me to go be a secretary. This was the wrong daughter to tell, okay? And they weren't being mean to me. They were actually trying to take care of me. And I'm not just talking about my parents, teachers, authority figures. These kids are truly looking at it. And I think, first of all, I think you all know who you are. You're just not hearing the voice, okay? And you're not believing it. You did hear it for a while, and you're not believing it because you were told and handed all these labels. And so that's where you go to, you know. So it's true. I mean, everybody's a daughter if you're a woman, okay? And everybody's a son, and you know, not everybody might be a sister, but everybody's a friend. And what the hell does that tell you? Even an entrepreneur. So what? What does that really tell you? You know, who are you? You know, who are you? And I'm laughing because some people could be watching this. They might be online. They might be watching the replay thinking, damn, all the hell I want to know is how to make money on the internet, right? And I say, the sooner you get that answer, the sooner you'll make money. Because you really need the answer, you know. We even talked a little bit earlier about once you know who you, because after you know who you are, my question to you is, are you being it? Especially if you're doing business on the internet, because too many people go, oh, so-and-so, you know, does good in this, I'll be like them. It's like, no, don't be like them. You might look at the methods they're utilizing, you know, and the kind of content they're teaching or what they're bringing out, you know, but to be like them, you're stopping who you are. And I believe we all know who we are. you know, and we actually have to relearn, okay, so to wipe out all that other stuff that, you know, those nouns, you know, and even adjectives. I'm happy. What the hell does that mean? I mean, you know, and it's relative. My biggest thing is, and I don't do it all the time, I would like to. I have to start putting stickers around again. Is to stop and ask myself, Ellie, what are you being right now? Not what are you doing, and not who are you, okay? But what are you being right now? And you know, I don't know. Maybe when you're asking that question, who am I? Maybe that question, you know, will give you more clarity in that. But the other thing we were saying is to have business on the internet. When you know who you are and then you're being it, now you know who your target market is.
Damn
In
it!
essence,
You just took my whole thing, Ellie.
I
Well,
took
let me
it
ask you something. Let me jump in here for a second, Ellie. When you say who are you being, what would be a potential answer for that?
Yeah, well, so then I would be being kind, or I would be being patient. So I mean, there's still those adjectives. I failed English. Yeah, but when you answer, what am I being? Okay, to me, anyways. When I answer that question, there's a feeling, and not just a freaking word. It's not just, yeah, I'm happy. Okay, what are you being? And you could be being happy. But for me, so this is a definite one-on-one thing, okay? When I ask myself that question, Ellie, what are you being? Sometimes the answer is a bitch, okay? I'm being cranky. All right, do you really want to be that? No, okay, let's change it. But there's a different response. That response actually comes from in here, not here. For me, when I ask that question. So whoever's watching this, whoever's here, you have to play with that. Do you get a different response when you ask that question, what am I being? And now poor Jamie's upset because she says I took her stuff. So what's your stuff, Jamie?
Well, forget about it. But it was, but it should be who the hell are you being, I think. Or what the hell are you being, to go along with the what the hell series that we're doing now. And you know, this is a very, you know, Kelly often refers to me sometimes and she'll say this is a very balanced Jamie. This is Jamie in balance, right? Kelly will say that to me sometimes, like this is a Jamie, you know, good Jamie in balance, you know. And this seems to be like a good Ellie in balance, I think, right? Right? I think like when you come out with this like kind of like prolific stuff, you know, it's like you're on, you know, like on point. Anyway, too bad you were too on point because you took the whole point that I was going to say, which was once you know who you are, who the hell you are, then you know who the hell you're talking to. And once you know who the hell you're talking to, it makes your marketing very, very easy. Because you can target that person, you can talk to that person, you can talk to their pleasures, their pains, their needs, you know their problems, you know the solutions now, or you know at least a way to get them to a solution. And yeah, but thanks, Ellie, you screwed up my whole thing. I knew I should have cut you off sooner.
I would love to jump in there because I think that one of the most amazing experiences for me is right now, as I'm trying to really grow my business, is this like onslaught of challenge from myself, really primarily on who am I, who the hell am I, what the hell am I doing. And it's really just unbelievable how like every day, every moment of the day that I try to step into some idea of who I'm being and who I want to be, that I have to face sort of all the different difficult that I have in myself and with myself about who I am, that really just stop me from being who I really am, who, like, where I really shine and what is the most awesome about me. And so this past week I decided that I was going to pick up running again, because I love to run, and it's challenging after not doing it, but I know it's something that's really good for me energetically. And I was listening to an audiobook while I was running, and I have to thank Jamie for offering it to me, because it's Jen Sincero. I'm not sure how you say her last name, but You Are a Badass. And there was this point where she was describing how, like, when you stop being who everybody told you to be and what the, general world allows you to fit in, and you start to be who you really want to be, just absolutely expect a complete uprising of everything. Every single thing in yourself and outside of yourself is going to challenge you to, get at who you really are. And it's, for me, having the courage again and again and again to not be afraid of that challenge, and is, and Jen, she talks about this in the book, like it's the same as, like, I've quit smoking before. It's the same as, she talks about, like, quitting drugs and alcohol. It's like there are physical reactions where, I have to go through, like, periods of anxiety, like, am I really going to put my heart out there and be this person that I know I am, that is so much bigger than, a staff accountant or a mother or just this, but I'm really going to put my vulnerability out there and my passion about how I want to connect with others and how I want to be of service to others and build them. And it's really one of the most challenging experiences in my life. I think I would liken it to, like, being a mother, that, as raising a child and having to be extraordinarily challenged about who I am to this little human being, but now, like, who I am to myself and to my community and the world. And I think that it's unbelievably important for me to continue to connect with people who are have good stuff to say. This morning I was listening to the Wake Up Call with MLSP, and Mark Harbour, I think it was, that was on, and he said, he gave a whole list of, like, qualities of leaders, and there were 3 that really stood out for me. And one of them, the first one was, like, you have to be humble, you have to have humility. And, like, I think that is one of the hardest things. Like, when I step out with my passion, I immediately think, like, who the hell am I to do this? Like, who the hell am I to, like, be this awesome? And so to, like, differentiate that between being, like, egotistical and terrible and really, like, humble and in love and passionate is a really challenging experience. Like, that I think takes such enormous amounts of courage, that I hope that, I wish I could just pass it out in a little dropper for, like, whoever wanted it. Like, here's a little courage, So there was a couple others that he talked about, but I'd say that was the one that really struck me in my heart the most. Like, the enormous humbling experience to really take a look at who I am as I'm putting my most vulnerable part, of myself and my heart into the world, and doing what I really want to do, not just settling, not just doing what, is safe and comfortable. I think it's a huge gift. Like, sometimes I think that it's the most amazing thing to step away from any other evaluation of my success other than that, to look at like how much I'm growing in just this little period of time. And I'm like, wow, that is so valuable. Like that is filling my bank account in ways that nothing ever could. So I think with that, I would say thanks.
Yeah, Kelly, keep your mic open. It's okay. Just for while I'm going to talk to you for a second. I'm going to talk to what you just said. But you have a headset in, so it shouldn't like feedback or something. But do you feel that in this connecting with other people, like in your connecting through this way, through your reaching out here in this specific way, that you are sort of like picking up or remembering or turning on different pieces of who you are while you're reaching out to offer someone something, they actually are offering you something in return? Do you feel that way at all?
Yeah, I absolutely. I think that it's like like I always love the myth Ariadne and the thread. Like, so she's the I'm not so good at all the details, but they like all of these people really are offering a thread. So when I can't remember something that is really vital to me being successful at putting my best self out in the world, that it's really important to connect with somebody who is doing that, because it will like trigger, it's like a reflection or a mirror that's like, oh yeah, I have that too, and I know that place in myself, and it doesn't look like that person's, but I can vibrate in my own way about that specific experience. And like yeah, it isn't their way, but there is a beautiful experience of somebody who's in their own courage or in their own strength of self-exploration and self-discovery that gives me the opportunity to reflect on how I can see myself in that strength and courage. So like this morning I was flipping through Gary Vaynerchuk's book, and that I don't know, he may have more than one, but he was saying that most important things you can do is ask 5 to 10 people that know you best to reflect back to you what your strengths and weaknesses are. And just reading that, really helped me to sink into the courage that it takes to really hear that and really look at myself and my own weaknesses. Like, that is not an easy thing to do by any means, so yeah, it really is important to connect with others who are actively getting to know who the hell they are, who are actively looking at how they show up in the world, because it is not something that I think we do naturally in our culture. We really just sort of easily plug in, or are told we should easily plug in somewhere. And I think when you're a leader, that's not always actually the case. I don't think you easily fit in and plug in. You have to kind of create your own experiences and mirror off of like the beautiful reflections of others. That makes sense?
Yes. And there is an exercise, by the way, called the loving mirror exercise. And it's like a series of questions that you ask someone and they answer about you specifically. It's really an intense, it's wonderful in ways because you get to hear great things about yourself. And sometimes that's almost as hard to hear as the weaknesses are, right? So I don't know if I think I have like the questionnaire for that loving mirror exercise. I'll post it in the comments so that anybody who's watching, if they want to try it with someone, it's good stuff. Okay, thanks, Kelly. I'm gonna make Michelle come back now.
It's funny, this this Google Hangout kept telling me to unmute because I was the moderator. And it kept saying, speak. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I love what everybody has said. And it takes great courage to look at yourself and to admit your weaknesses as well as your strengths, because you can build off of your strengths and grow stronger in your weaknesses. You know where to go get help. You know, if you're weak in X, then you need to go find a leader, a coach, somebody who's really good at X, and learn and grow your strength from them. Or a book, or a podcast, an audiobook, wake up calls. I mean, anything. Courage also, because entrepreneurs, we need to pretty much live outside our comfort zone. If you want to grow a successful business, then you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If success was found within your comfort zone, then everybody would be successful that was looking for it, right? So we need to stretch ourselves, and we have to be comfortable with ourselves to be able to do that. If you don't know who you are or what your strengths and weaknesses are, how can you stretch yourself and go outside your comfort zone to find that success? What else? Man, I had something else I was thinking of. I don't have my sticky notes around here to write a note. So basically, finding out who you are is something that's enlightening for you, and it helps you, and it grows you, and it grows your business, and it grows your team, and it grows everybody around you, or it doesn't. Meaning, friends and family might not like who you are becoming. You know, if they've got the regular 40-hour-a-week job or whatever, and the family, and they're busy, soccer practices, hockey practice, whatever, and they're running around and they're living a normal life, and you decide that you want to change something, you want to go in a different direction, it holds up a mirror, and they may not like what they see. And so we must also take the courage to be who we are, even though the people that we love the most may not like that. You know, when I came up against that 3 years ago, like I said, when I went into the program, you know, all my friends were like me. You know, they were unhappy. They hated their life. They didn't believe in anybody or anything. They didn't trust anybody. And when I went into that program and learned who I was at that time and what made me happy and what didn't make me happy, they didn't like it. They didn't like the new, or the not new, but they didn't like the Michelle that came out of that program, because it held up an uncomfortable mirror to how they felt about their lives. And so I lost a lot of friends, but it was a good thing, because I was able to grow, and I still see them once in a while, and they're still in the same old stuff, the same old rut, feeling the same thing as they were 3 years ago. And I am so in a different place. And so we must learn who we are right now. And then you know how or where you want to change. So how do we do that? I mean, we keep saying, yeah, we need to do, you know, find out who you are. But how do we do it? You know, well, that's a good question. I can tell you using a 12-step program, but basically you sit down and you write. You start with the labels. You start, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a this, I am a that. And then you go with the adjectives. I really like that. I am this, I am that. And I forgot about that part because that's a huge part. And then you write things that you don't like about yourself. And it's like a free writing. you come up with all of this stuff that you didn't know was really there. And it might take some time to do it. You're not going to sit down and do it in 5 minutes. If you need to come back to it, then come back to it. But get as complete as you can so that you can look at the list and go, okay, you know, I'm really scared to do that. I'm scared to put myself out. I'm scared to be authentic. I'm scared to, you know, take off who people think I am and be the real me. I'm scared of this, or I don't have faith in people, or I don't trust a lot of people. I think they're lying. I think, you know, you look at the list and you see where you're strong, and you look and see where you're weak, and you can see what you want to change. And then you can go seek out the help to change that aspect. Sometimes it's just finding somebody to talk to, somebody else who's kind of struggled with what you struggled with. And that helps. It just helps to find, it helps when you're building a business to find somebody who's building a business. Yeah, you can learn off the leaders. You can learn off of people who've gotten more results than you. But it really helps to talk to somebody who's where you are or just a little bit higher, because they can tell you how to get through that plateau, how to get through that little failure, that little mistake that you made, or, you know, whatever. So just finding somebody to talk to helps. So, I mean, that's how I could suggest how you find out who you are. Carol, I know you were the social worker. Do you have any other ideas on that?
Well, I'm going to go to the meditation that we're doing right now, actually, with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And part of the morning meditation, he asks, my words, not his, you know, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Right, who do you want to be? And then he asks, well, let me finish that thought first. He goes on and he talks a little bit more about it. And then he says, you know, choose what you want to be from the field. Because he talks, you know, about being in space all the time. So I realized all of a sudden it was like doing. You know, I had seen that movie, What the Bleep, and he was one of the commentators on that movie. And when he said that, when he made that statement about in the field, and I put it together with what was in the movie, and like the hair stood up on my arms, and something just hit my inner being, because I thought, holy crap, it's there. Whatever the fuck we want is there. It's in the field. All we have to do is choose it. And then the second part of the meditation is, you know, start shedding what you don't want to be. So, of course, for me, what I don't want to be is the opposite of what I want to be. So, you know, that part was kind of easy. So I just, you know, thought to myself, what the hell do I want to be at this point? And, you know, I put that out, and I said, man, I'm coming to the field, and I'm going to pick you out, because that's what I want. So for me, that, you know, that's the way to do it. You know, imagine it, be it, see yourself being it, and just feel it, and just stay in that vibration as much as you can.
What happens if you're in that space and you can't see what you want to be?
You know, I think that one of the reasons you can't see what you want to be is because, and I wrote it, Joe Dispenza, and just as you were about to talk, Carol, the piece that I hear there is because we have emotional addiction in our body. So you get addicted to emotionally being like mad at yourself or sad at yourself or whatever. And so if you're emotionally addicted to a cycle of not succeeding or not receiving or anything that's, not positive, you can't, it's really hard to even allow yourself to open up to what's in the field that you could possibly have. I think that especially, there's a lot of people who just can't even get past like living in poverty as a way of being. They can't even open up to the fact that they can make money successfully, easily doing what they love. So, I think that that's a really big, important piece of it is getting past the emotional addiction. I think like you talk about that, Michelle, like, that it, just like any kind of quitting, like you have to be like, watch what you're quitting, quit the negative addiction to your, to whatever failure or disappointment or victim or any of those kinds of things. That's really important so that you can get access to what's out there and like the universe providing for you. That's huge.
I do want to say real quick though that it's not an immediate thing. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a daily practice of being mindful. And if you have failed at failing something or letting go of something, try it again. Do it again. Do it again. Carol, real quick, did you want to continue saying something?
Yeah, I was just going to address that. I don't know. Are you done for now?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. I was in essence going to say the same thing. It's like you've heard of the old peeling the onion process. It's a process, and its processes take time. And to me, probably if you're really confused or blocked about what it is that you want, probably the easiest place to start is with what you don't want, and then just keep examining that and peeling it and seeing, well, if I'm not that, if I don't have that, if I'm not being that, then what can I be? What would I like to be? But again, as Michelle just said, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that requires, thinking about, examining, and it begins to come in the process.
The only reason why it doesn't happen overnight is because we've lived it. And we lived it more than overnight. And when you say what happens if you can't see, what does that mean, can't see? What does that mean? You little one I'm talking to. You're the one who brought up the question. Yes.
Sorry. What? What if you're in that space and you can't see what you want?
What do you mean you can't see it?
Like, what if, okay, so you're in that space and he's saying just see who you want to be, see what you want out in that field.
Right.
And then take it and be it, right?
Uh-huh.
Bring it in.
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
What if you can't see what you want to be? What if it's not clear what you want to be? You know what you don't want to be.
So what if there's
you don't know what you want to be.
I would say there's confusion, and I'll tell you why there's confusion. People are so damn afraid because they go, oh, well, this is what I want to be. And then they go, oh, but I might want to be this. And if I pick this, then I won't get that. That's why people have confusion. So I think you'd just like to stir the pot, and you brought this up. But if you know what you don't want, you absolutely know what you do want. You don't have to have a picture representation of it. Okay? There's a feeling. And if somebody worked, even that meditation that we're talking about, and they worked with that feeling, they would eventually get a picture representation, and that will change anyways. It will constantly change, so it doesn't even matter. But people that go, they're so afraid of picking the wrong thing. I can tell you that from experience because I've been there and I've done that. So I wouldn't want to make a decision because what if? It's the same thing with people who don't like their job, and you tell them, you better stop hating your job if you really want to get out of it. You need to love it, okay? Or at least make peace with it if you want to get out of it. And they're deathly afraid, if I start to like it, the universe won't give me what I really want. So she ran away. But that was whose question I was answering.
Sorry, the baby came in.
Well, we'd like to see him.
Oh, oh hell, I forgot what I wanted to say.
It was good.
Ellie,
There-
that was so wise, and like Yoda wise, some of what you said. I have to say, like, you just rocked my world right now. I can't even repeat back what it was that you said that was so good, but like, yes. So thank you.
I think yes. I think if you don't know what you want, a lot of people have stopped dreaming. They've just stopped dreaming. They're not content, but they have resolved to the fact that life is always going to be the way it is right now, and they just stop dreaming altogether. And so if you are one of those people who just don't know what they want or don't know what their dream would be, like Ellie just said, what do you not want? And the opposite of that. So like if a perfect example, I love lakes and mountains, and I know that I want to move out west someday and live on a mountain lake somewhere. I have no clue where, but this weekend I sat down on the internet and I narrowed it down to Lake Havasu. And I did that because I searched mountain lakes and I did a whole bunch of stuff. And now I have something clear to focus on, to visualize. But I had to know, okay, I want to move out west. I want it to be fairly warm. I want it to be a mountain lake. 2 years ago, I couldn't have told you that. I didn't have a dream really 2 years ago. So like Ellie said, if you don't know what it is, if you can't see anything in the future, what do you not want? And what's the opposite of that? I like that. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, where is Lake Habawasi there? Whatever it was.
Lake Havasu, it's part of the Colorado River. It's over there in Arizona, kind of by Colorado right there.
Ah,
There were a few places I looked, and the current temperature was 50 or 60, and I was like, And then I went to Lake Havasu, and the temperature was like 90, and I went, okay, yeah. And then I went all around, and the views, just narrowing it down, finding something online to visualize so that, you can just have a picture of something in your mind. Something. If you want a new car, narrow it down to what it looks like at least, and visualize that. That helps a lot. And yeah, the meditation, I couldn't do that, 9 months ago. And it's totally changed because you see who you want to be in the future. And when you sit and visualize and meditate on the visualization, you see yourself being that person. And you almost can get some kind of clarity as to how to get there. Now, I have The Power of Habit. I started reading that after I finished The Slight Edge, and it's really, really, really good. And one of the stories in there is about Michael Phelps. And when he was a kid, his mother made him start swimming to get rid of his extra energy, especially when they were going through their divorce and stuff. And so he got this coach, and the coach said, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And he wanted to be in the Olympics. And so his coach said, all right, you sit there every single night before you go to sleep. And every morning when you wake up, you play the videotape. You sit there and you are swimming in the Olympics. And you just see yourself just doing it. You feel the water. You feel how it drips off your lip when you come off, up out of the surface. I mean, you feel it. You hear it. You see it. You smell it, the chlorine. You live it. And then later on, they were able to work on, okay, now what would you do if your goggles failed? And they went through all the possible things that would happen. And in that videotape, over and over and over again, he just visualized it happening. Well, in 2008, he was in the Olympics, and he had won like 9 gold medals or something, or 7 at the moment, or whatever it was. Anyway, he went in for another swim, a race, and his goggles failed. But he knew exactly what to do because he had done it thousands of times before in his mind. And he was able to win the world record, and he was swimming blind. And another way is because his coach also had him learn how to swim blind by swimming in the dark, so he can't see the markings on the bottom of the pool. Visualizing yourself doing it, making it, achieving it, helps it become more real, and you can change who you are now to who you want to be by following that through. I don't know if it made any sense whatsoever, but anyway, does anybody have anything else they want to say?
Michelle, you did an excellent job there. And I think that's the hard thing when you're talking about the void or space or transition. You can lose your words, you can lose your train of thought because you're going through a whole process of explaining something that is so, in my language, divine or mysterious that it can even be hard to nail down and talk about. But it's so important. That's why we all need each other to reflect back to each other, like, you're on it, you're doing it. So awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Michelle, there's this line from a song. It says, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, that's because sense cannot be made. It must be sensed. How about that?
Boom. Oh, okay. We got 6 minutes. Ellie, Carol, Kelly, Jamie, anybody have anything else?
You mentioned a book, The Power of Habit. I'm going to put that on the list. And Kelly, I'm going to suggest a couple of books for you. Whether or not you're interested is up to you, certainly. But you mentioned self, community, and world. And that's exactly what this guy talks about in this book, which is The Conscious Millionaire by J.V. Crum, C-R-U-M, the third. What a name, huh? And the other book, I don't know if you've read it or not, is The Millionaire Messenger by Brendan Burchard. And, he talks about, you mentioned something about why, if people ask why would I have something to offer, why would I have something to say, whatever. And he talks a lot about that in that book. So, I don't know, you might find them interesting.
Great. Those are great books. I gotta Mark, I think Mark's read them. He reads a lot. I don't even know what he reads. He's in the car all the time, so he's listening to audiobooks all the time, and he could probably listen to one every day. So I don't know. He's probably going to be running out of books soon. So okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Well, we are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about business topics that are kind of sort of related to business, and this is hugely related to business. You know, like Ellie was saying, people are thinking, what does this have to do with making money online? And it has everything to do with making money online, because you need to know, like they were saying, who you are, so you know who you're going to target, who you're going to talk to, how to talk to them, what to say, how to touch, what their problems are, their struggles are, what keeps them up at night. And you need to know who you are to be able to do that. So next week is What the Hell Are You Doing? Right, Jamie? Yeah. Okay. So I think it's the last in our What the Hell series. Unless we can come up with
knows?
What?
Who knows? What the hell could happen next? That's it. That's it. That's the next one after that. What the hell happens next?
That's good. I like that one. I like that. Okay, well then maybe it's not going to be the end next week. All right. Well, we will see you next Tuesday. You can always watch the replay on the page, theboldteam.com, and we will see you next week. Have an awesome week. If you have any questions, if you want to have any comments, just comment on the page. Somebody will reply to you, answer any of your questions throughout the week. All right. Thank you. Bye.